Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete and certified high performance coach. Well, we're talking about a pretty important topic. It's called demand. And if you do not have demand in your business, you're not going to be in business long. Demand is leads. Generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's what we're all about. And if you don't know what your strategy is to build demand, you're not going to be around long because the world is flipping upside down. AI is changing everything. Strategy that you used a couple years ago does not work as it did back then. You always have to be adapting to what's going on. And I just want to challenge you at the beginning. Search yourself. Put your name in there. Search it. What does the internet say about you? And then search me. Just put Pete Kane. There's a few Pete Kanes, but put the word podcast in there. Now, that gap, because I dominate the first 5 pages of Google, that gap is your opportunity. That gap is because I've created assets. I've created my profile online. I've created over 500 podcasts. I've had numerous guests. I have 9 courses. Those are assets. Where I see people missing the opportunity is in the difference between activity and assets. Activity and assets. People think they got to be everywhere locally. They got to go to every networking event out there because they got to be everywhere. That's activity. Once it's over, it's over. But I have half a dozen books. I have 9 courses that support our focus on making sure you have a strategy. Because today, the world has changed. Today, the world is global. So if you're focusing on the 20%, which is local, and you forget about the opportunity of global, you're leaving opportunity on the table. Plenty of opportunity. You know the 80-20. Well, yes, 80% of what you do produce 80% of what your results are. So if your outcome is you're focusing on that 20% local and you're expecting to get an 80-20 rule and you're supposed to get 80% of your leads from your local, it doesn't work that way. Because when I meet you, I'm going to search you. I'm going to look you up. And if I see nothing online that you have not created assets, podcasts, courses, videos, books, workshop, webinar, whatever it is, create it once. I go to a networking event, it's over. That's it. There's no asset there. That's activity. I create this video today. It's always going to be available. So people say, well, you don't have a lot of views. I don't care about views right now. What I care about is my 9 courses, my books, my workshops, my luncheons. Even my luncheons, I love to connect, but they're done in such a way that we're building assets because we're helping people see the difference. If you see the difference between activity and assets, your future will be bright. If you continue the activity mindset, there's not enough hours in the day. You'll be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Always busy, always running, because you're not creating assets. A house is an asset. A building is an asset. A book is an asset. A podcast is an asset. These are things created one time. And you have to distinguish between the difference between activity and asset. Because if you believe that your consumption versus creating, look at TikTok. Okay, there's two different types of people on TikTok: the creators and the consumers. There's either people making a lot of money creating content, and then there's the people that scroll and consume it. So it doesn't matter whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Be a creator. Be a creator. That's an asset. When you're creating 9 courses like I have, when you're creating personal collaborative podcasts for our clients, that's creating something for our clients so they can understand the journey. The journey is now. And if we recognize the difference between activity and asset, consumption versus creating, then when you look at yourself, if you're not creating leads, and leads is going to make the difference between whether your business succeeds or fails. Because if it fails, it was a hobby. Because a hobby is intended to entertain you, to enjoy. Your business is not a hobby. So you have to say, does my business create leads? Does it, do I have cash flow? Am I building a thriving community? Am I building a thriving business? Well, if you do, create leads, generates cash flow, builds a thriving community. Now, if you want to have a hobby, that's great. But don't think your business is a hobby, because leads is life. Leads is breath to a body. You have to create demand. Most think about supply. I got to make sure my website's really nice. I got to make sure everything's beautiful when nobody's ever bought it. So you don't have any leads. You don't have any cash flow. And you certainly don't have a thriving business. Focus first on leads. Leads are life for your business. Leads are everything. And now when you look at your online opportunity, so you could be doing leads locally, that's your 20%. But the 80% is the people that don't even know you. They're halfway across the world. And your ability to create a key person of influence online, like Daniel Priestley says. Let me put this up here. So you can see, we talk about the 7-Eleven 4. People have to consume, they have to get to know you. It's going to take 7 hours, 11 buying signals, and 4 different platforms. YouTube's a platform, Instagram's a platform, a book's a platform, a webinar's a platform, a podcast is a platform. They have to see you on 4 different ones. The brain then shifts to know, like, and trust. We all have about 150 people, give or take a few, some more, some less, that we know, like, and trust, that our brain is familiar with. That's why when you buy, say, a Tesla, you see them all over the place. When before that, it wasn't even on your radar because you weren't interested in it. But once somebody is interested in you, they're going to continue a journey with you. And if they consume 7 hours, they buy your book, they listen to your podcast, they attend your workshop, they go to your luncheon, they do various things that shows they're interested. If people aren't interested in you, forget it. They're not going to do anything with you because they can't get to know, like, and trust. That's why if you search me and you're interested in being a key person of influence online, and you're interested in creating assets, and you want to be generating leads for your business, and you're focused on leads, demand first before supply and consumption. Back in my days of running a small digital marketing agency, so many times you heard 50% of marketing works and 50% doesn't. Well, the 50% that doesn't work are the ones that buy an expensive website, spend all this money, and they haven't got one client yet. There's no demand. Plenty of supply, website, cards, brochures, going out in the marketplace, but not selling anything. Look, the opportunity of an entrepreneur is no easy feat. You got to be a good salesperson. I sometimes run into people say, well, I don't want to be a salesperson. Why? What are you if you can't sell whatever you're doing? You have a hobby, and you don't need to be a salesperson to be a hobbyist. But if you want to generate leads, cash flow, and build a thriving community, you have to be a good pitcher. You got to pitch. Somebody says, hey, Pete, what do you do? I generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's the end of it. So it takes me 5 seconds. If they say nothing, then I'll just ask them, what do you do? How do you create value in the marketplace? Just ask them any question. Because if they say, hey, how do you generate leads? I'll tell them more. But if they're not interested, I'm not going to throw up on them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes of trying to sell them when they have no interest in me. You've got to build interest. You've got to build curiosity. When you do that, people lean into you and they're interested. And when they're interested, they want to go on a journey with you. So I run into somebody at Publix. We have a great conversation. I ask them for their card. What am I going to do? You got it. I'm going to look them up. And if I see nothing on there to continue the journey, it's over. I just say, well, I had a good conversation. But you want people to get to know, like, and trust you. So you got to create assets, content. When you do that, you allow people to go on a journey with you online. So when you're focusing on building your business in next year, work on creating demand, generating cash flow, and building a thriving community. It starts with demand. It starts with you creating assets. I don't go to every networking event. Those are activities. And if we are always doing activities, we're not creating assets, you won't get the most out of your growth. Yeah, you may grow a little bit. And I have plenty of people that go and they grow, but they're focused on that 20%, the local piece, and they miss the online or global opportunity. That's where the 80% lies. That's where your growth, that's where you'll 10x grow your business, because think of 80% as people that don't know you. They're people halfway around the world. They don't know you yet, unless you allow them to get to know, like, and trust online. That's what Daniel Priestley talks about. Key person of influence. Build your online influence. But to do that, you got to create assets. Assets. Not activities, assets. Create versus consume. You're on TikTok. What kind of person are you? Are you the person creating the assets, the videos? Or are you the one that consumes them? Both are on there. One is creating demand. The other is being entertained. And if you're being entertained for 4 hours a day, you'll never build your business. Look at it as entertainment. Don't think you're doing any social media prospecting or doing anything to help your business. You're only hurting your business. The creators of demand will be the ones that will be successful. So what I want to give you is an opportunity. We're just around the corner. 26 is almost here. And if you don't change your strategy, you don't have an online profile that allows people to go on a journey with you, you're going to miss on the 80% growth of your business. Clarity session. Let me see if I can put a QR code up here. Yeah, I'm getting pretty good. There we go. All right. Let me see. What is this? This is my left. Upper left side, right above Daniel Priestley's. Scan it or go to pkane.me/clarity. Book a session. Make sure you have the right strategy going into next year. Make sure you're creating assets. Know the difference between assets and activity. The difference between consumption and creating. You get those two right, you'll have a bright future. The choice is yours. Anything's possible with the right strategy. And you have the right strategy, and your future will be so bright because we're getting into some exciting, abundant times. But those that don't recognize that won't feel that because they're focusing on consumption. They're focusing on activity. They're focusing on the wrong metrics. And when you look at the right metrics, meaning look at it as a global opportunity, 9 courses, 500 podcasts that are scattered all over the place. Don't have a lot of views on each one, and people say, hey, you can grow your views. I get solicited a couple times, 3-4 times a week. Hey, I can help your views. I can help your exposure. They have no idea my strategy. So, to the average person, it may not look like we're getting our business growing, and we are, because we're going to be collaborative podcasts with people possibly like you. Get on my podcast. Go to pkane.me. Go to pkane.me, and let me see if I can put this up on here. No, I can't. Okay, let me see. Go to pkane.me and just sign up for a podcast. Let me introduce you to our community, because together we're generating leads, cash flow, and building a thriving community. We use this every single day. I journal every day for clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence online. Most of us have that influence in our local area, but I can look anybody up and I can see if they have the influence online. About 95% of the people I look up do not have an online profile that allows me to go on a journey to get to know, like, and trust them. So they're missing the 80% opportunity. Focus on your online influence. Be a key person of influence. We have a course for you. Okay, let me give you this course. Hey, let me see. Yes, go to here. Go to Connect. And I'm going to put it on the QR code. This is the Connect. Go to pkane.me/connect. When you do, it's going to give you this course. Oops, no, here we go. It's going to give you a free course, $300 gift. It's the holidays. I want to give you something. So this is 12 sessions: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. And then persuasion mastery, physiology mastery, purpose mastery, productivity mastery. These are all in the 12 sessions. $300. I'm giving it to you for free because I want you to start, and we'll end this year with momentum and start next year with momentum, because you're focused on demand. You're focused on your assets. You're focused on your creating. You do those, you'll have a thriving business. Together we're better. Use the word gift. It'll waive the $300 fee. If you want to pay for it, that's fine. We give half of it away to our local charities. Take advantage of it. Activating something, thinking about it doesn't get it done. It's doing it. Activate it. Creating assets. Signing up. Getting a free course. Putting the word gift in there. Receiving a gift, a $300 gift. Because Brendon Bouchard, who certified me, let me go back to this. Okay, there we go. High Performance Habits. It's the book right on my back. There it is. Let me see. Right there. There, man. There it is right there. Let me see. I always get this. It's weird when you're doing it. Okay. No. Oh, here we go. Wait. There we go. High Performance Habits. Clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Those are the 5 high performance habits. You master those, you're going to have a bright future. You're going to figure it out because those are the core of your foundation. Remember, create demand, create assets, create. Know the difference between activities and assets. You focus on assets and let the activities, hire people to do your activities. Give them the opportunity to do what they do best. But know what your genius zone is. Know how you can grow. Because when you grow, your business will grow. Personal growth matters. All right. So thank you so much. Go to pkme.me/connect. And then if you want to connect, you can. And the clarity session is somewhere here. Where's my clarity? Yes, I do have it here somewhere. I know. Okay, let me just put it up here. Here we go. Clarity is, I know. I get this. Okay, hold on here. We're just about, I want to make sure. Okay, clarity. Book clarity. Just put, instead of connect, put clarity. And you can book a session. Book a session. It's 15 minutes. We're going to find out how we can help you with your strategy. It's free. Learn the difference between activity and assets, consumption versus creating, and you're going to have a brighter future because the future is bright when you have the right strategy. So be bold, make it